I've been going to church early in the mornings because they have this 21 days of fasting, prayer sort of meetings that they're having at 6:15 a.m. every day. And I've been going to these. They've been pretty interesting. But I want to tell you about this one time after we finished. I came out of the restroom. I'm about to head to my car, another morning. And this guy comes up to me, and he's like this black guy with a very fashionable outfit and like a beige hat, beige overcoat. He's got braids and thick glasses, and he comes up and he talks to me, hey, I saw you pray last Monday. And so what these churches have been doing is that they've been broadcasting the sessions on Instagram Live, and apparently he saw me pray on Instagram Live earlier that week. And when he was in bed watching that Instagram Live at 6:30 a.m. that morning, he's told me that he screenshotted me multiple times and told me that God had told him to come up to me and say this to me. And essentially what he wanted to tell me was that he wanted me to join young adults. And young adults is like the ministry they have at that church for 19 to 29-year-olds. And so I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. And then he started telling me about like the ministry, and he said a lot, but something that really kind of annoyed me and like peed me off was he told me that this generation, my generation, was lost. And he used words like drowning in media. They have the spirit of comparison on them. And these kind of words, I went home, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It kind of like annoyed me because I'm like, and actually, the thing that pissed me off the most was that, so he didn't say this directly to me, right? So he was talking about me and telling me all the good things about the student ministry and how I should join and how I'm going to find friends and all that, fluffy stuff. And then so there's this older woman walking by, and he pulls this woman over and he's like, hey, by the way, I saw you on Instagram Live last Monday and I saw you pray, and God told me to invite you to student ministry to serve. And then after that, he told her they're drowning in media, they're lost, they are, and one other thing he said is that they're Christians, they read the Bible, they're rooted in God, and yet they're still lost. And that's an interesting one, guys, because I'm not too sure how one can be in the Word, truly, genuinely in the Word, not like, I read it, and be lost. I'm not really sure how that works, because it tends to be the case where if you're not walking with God, you're gonna be lost. But if you are in God's hands, how are you lost, right? So that side of his argument for me to come, I was kind of like, and so when I saw this side of this guy who was telling me to invite him, I was like, bro, this man. But yeah, as I walked home, I was thinking about it a lot, and I'm like, I hope I'm not like that, drowning in media. It's crazy. I mean, if you see Instagram nowadays, you can't really doubt this so-called spirit of comparison, because genuinely you will see people who act like a jerk, and yet they've got a six-pack and an amazing relationship with someone. And like, and then he also told me, you'll see people start their career before you, that'll trip you up. You'll see people get into a relationship before you, that'll trip you up. And he said a couple other things I forgot, but like, this is the sort of journey that he's seeing people, especially young adults, go through. And so it was an interesting thought to the start of my week. I started to, research more on depression, and I came across this podcast with Dr. Paul Conti. And, depression and this age group, it goes hand in hand, obviously more and more people are coming under depression, especially in these times more and more. Is social media the sole culprit? Of course not. Is it a culprit? Definitely. And it's definitely a source of a lot of distress. And this distress, it comes from a lot of things. And the problem with distress, for most, just especially if you're watching this video, you're probably like me. And if you're like me, you have a lot of things to do, a lot of goals that you want to get to. And distress, in my terms, I'll call it being down bad. If you're down bad, you can't do anything. Your mind's not straight. You can't sit down for 5 hours and work like you said you would. You'll be distracted here, be distracted there. You'll be saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough for this." Well, maybe not in those words. It's different for everyone, but like, you don't see yourself as a person who is able to sit down and do the things that you care about. It'll be 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and you'll say, "Oh, come on, I need to do this," and it just becomes 3 o'clock like that, and you've done jack. In my experience, that happens still, which is annoying. And the source of it is just me being down bad, and it's a range of emotions, it's a range of actions, but at the core of it, it's the emotional mismanagement. And there was this conversation online with Dr. Paul Conti, both with Dr. Andrew Huberman and Chris Williamson. And Dr. Paul Conti talked a lot about the internal narrative. Because when we are stressed, when we tell ourselves, we're not who we are, who we want to be, our bodies just stay like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, like, the things we believe genuinely do change the way our body metabolizes fats. You've probably seen this study where, like, there's two different groups. One is given a milkshake and another is given the same milkshake, except one group is told that it's unhealthy because it's a milkshake, but yet the other group is told that it's a protein shake and it's healthy for them. And lo and behold, when they do the protein analysis, the way the body metabolized the milkshake was literally as the audience or the testing group believed it to be. So the protein shake people, the body grasped all the nutrients that were so and so healthy, and for the other group, the body grasped a lot of the fat and the sugar from it. So in a similar vein, if you are working out, okay, you're dieting, you are eating less, you're in a deficit, you are running, you're doing cardio, you can do all the things, sleeping, but yet if your mindset is not straight, if your mindset is that it's not enough, I'm fat, I'm not gonna lose this weight, and you genuinely rehearse that and believe that, it's tough because you're not gonna lose the weight, and people on the outside will be dumbfounded because on paper you're doing all the right things, but the mind is not straight, which is why I think therapy is actually an amazing invention. A lot of people don't like it. I've personally never been to therapy, and there are a lot of bad therapists out there, but like the concept is great. It's fantastic, and with the right skill set, I just think that therapy is one of the greatest things. I still will very much say that psychology is a soft science, but what an incredible, useful science it is, nonetheless. But with this problem, we have to create tools to fight this, because, like, personally, I don't want to be down bad all the time. I want to be doing the things that I want to be doing, reaching my goals. And so it starts with the internal narrative. It starts with the story we tell ourselves. I talk a lot about stories on this channel, don't I? I guess I'm just into that nowadays. How do we change the stories that we tell ourselves? I was watching this video from Muhammad. I recommended this YouTuber in the YouTubers I watched in 2023 videos, so you can check that out. And he's Muslim, right? So he talks about this thing called Mustaghfir Allah. It's like, I don't know how you pronounce it, but Mustaghfir Allah. And so the idea is that when you translate it to English, it means forgive me, Allah, or something. So it's asking for forgiveness at its core. And what Muslims would do is that they say it over and over and over. And he's like, yeah, say, guys, bros, say it 800 times a day. And so when you're asking God for forgiveness, you're relieving the guilt. The idea is that you are shedding all the bad emotions related to the sin that you've committed, right? So if you've stayed up late till like 1, 2 a.m. playing video games and you wake up the next morning feeling terrible, Mustaghfirullah, Mustaghfirullah, Mustaghfirullah. The guilt is good, but living with that guilt is not what we want. The guilt is there so we don't do the action again. Evolutionarily, that makes sense, right? I don't know, you can think of an example. The guilt is there is so that it changes your behavior, so you don't do that behavior again. If you relieve yourself next to the food pile and then your clan punishes you, you're supposed to feel that guilt so that you don't do that again. And so guilt is helpful for that reason, but we don't want it to overwhelm us. Otherwise, it creates beliefs in ourselves that don't help us, that don't support us, and don't support the mission that we're trying to do on this earth. So, as a Christian, pray. Tell God, look, God, what I did was terrible. I don't feel good about it. Well, please give me the strength and forgive me, and make me anew, so that you can take my life and do the incredible things that I know you want to do with it. And so, simple prayers like that, you just, for Muslims, they just do over and over and over until it's drilled into their minds that they're forgiven. I, as a Christian, believe that we don't have to work for our forgiveness, that our salvation is not built on works, but it's already won, The battle's already won. And as I've said earlier in the year, I'm battling the fight to allow God to win my battles for me. Because I've been doing everything on my own strength, especially all of 2023. Try to do it on my own, I can't. So I'm in that stage where I'm trying to tap into God's more infinite energy reserves, potential, just allow him to work through me and not trying to do everything on my own, And so ask for forgiveness. Another thing is that just go outside, if you're in a rut, especially this works for me, I sit down for 2 hours, nothing's happening, get up. No matter how much you want to finish something, you're not going to do it. So just get up, leave, stand up and leave, walk outside. Even if it's nighttime, just go outside, listen to some music, breathe that air, deep breaths, take a break, and then come back only when you're ready. If you're not ready for that day, then just stop, okay? If the procrastination monkey is not banging its alarms, you're not going to get the work done. And so you might as well just go to sleep. New day, you go to school, you come back, all right, go, okay? You just have to do that thing. So if you have to do it, it'll get done. At least in my case, that's how it's sort of been. So if you're just sitting there wasting time, it's not worth it. Just go get some sunlight. And if you see all the research that has been done on the benefits of getting the sunlight, I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely amazing, what sunlight can do for your sleep, for your mental health, for your immunity. Endless, almost infinite benefits, and it's free. It's the best supplement, guys. So go take a walk. It's a good reset. This tip, I think I've mentioned it before in one of my studying videos, actually, because studying, having that mental fortitude for the purpose of studying is essentially why I talk about this. But I mean, it could be for anything, building your business, etc., etc. When you get thoughts and the internal narrative of you being not enough starts to win, essentially what you do is you dissociate yourself from that identity and talk at it, right? So it's a conversation between your higher self and your lower self. Justin Sun, likes to put it as you versus your goofy brain. And so you can give your brain a really silly name, like he said banana bee. It's a funny name. So essentially there's an internal dialogue that goes something like this. Hey banana bee, um, nice talking to you, nice seeing you again. So I know this exam's coming up, and I know like there's a lot of reason to be anxious and stressed, and I really appreciate you trying to give me all these warning signals. But I know, I know that there's a test. So hey, I'll tell you what. You don't need to be all goofy, during this time. You don't need to be anxious, you're scared or worried, because I got this banana bee. I'm being chill, I'm here, I'm working hard, I'm smart, and I'm gonna do great on this test because I've been preparing, I've been putting the work in, I've been putting the hours in, and even if I haven't, I'm putting the work in right now because I care. And so, banana bee, I'm just letting you know that I'm gonna get to it so you can chill for a bit, and I'll talk to you later, man. Bye. And see, this is called dismissive humor. And you don't have to do all that internal dialogue. You get the gist. You can just like laugh it off, right? You could say that like, I've been putting all this work in meditating. I've been doing all this internal work of journaling and doing work and researching and listening to podcasts and forging a new identity of myself for months and months and months. And I know logically that I am not that same person as I was. And so you kind of show yourself that I am better. I've already defeated this. And so I know this I'm realizing now that it's kind of going against my first tip, which is, ask God. But, the more tools in your tool belt. And this kind of goes into the next thing. Again, earlier in the year, I've talked about evidence, the concept of evidence. And that this year for me was going to be a year of evidence that I can achieve great things. And so, obviously with God's strength, but for me, I'm in that place where I don't really have any proof to myself that I can do anything great. And so I have some proof. I have a little proof, I have proof that I'm good at art. That's nice. I have proof that I have the potential to get good grades, which is great. Potential is one thing, actually doing it's another. I have proof that I can be consistent in the gym. But like these proofs it's not enough for me, And so, the kind of point that I was thinking about when I thought of this tip for you guys is that I kind of realized why the older you are, maturity kind of sets in like that. It's because older people have that evidence at any point that they can draw from that says, I can do this, I am mature. And so it's like, First Man talks about this all the time, right? Like, male advantage, ooh. What was this age? 36 to 50 was the male advantage or something like that. It's though that at that age you have accomplished, at that point you would have had accomplished so many things that you just breathe deeper naturally. You would have had so many conversations with so many important people that you just naturally talk to people so easily. You don't really feel needy to like, for example, if there's like a girl and you want to talk to her, it's not like, okay, I'm talking to her so I can improve my points on warm contacts. No, it's so easy because they've talked to so many important people. If they want to, they go and just say like whatever. I don't even know what they say. I'm not at that point. So it's it's why at that age, it's you're more stable. It's harder to lose your momentum in that. It's hard to fall into periods of down bad. And also at that age, you're married. So being married stabilizes you a lot, as I've come to know recently after just learning about it. So, for us, obviously, we can't rely on age. In my case, I think I'm mature, but I'm really not. I'm really not mature. I'm 19, and like for 19, I don't know, compared to others, I guess I'm mature, but really I'm not that mature. Like I have the maturity of maybe 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, I'm mentally I'm just not there. Hopefully by the end of this year I will be, and you guys will see that journey. But yeah, when you're just older, you know that it's just an observation, not really something you can act on, but I thought I'd mention it. While I'm at it, this video is going to be long, and I'm trying to experiment with longer videos because it's something that I would listen to. So, there you go. Hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy, leave a like, you know, it helps. And thank you for making it this far into the video. Another tip for the internal narrative is to surround yourself with inspiration. And I've said this so many times before. If you can't find the friends in real life, surround yourself in that digital space with inspiration. Because there's so much out there to find where it's just people who are grinding and doing fantastic things with their lives. And if you're hanging out with quotation marks, if you are watching these videos more than you're hanging out with like kind of stupid friends, I mean, like it's your 5 closest people that you know. Uh, you know, it's if you spend more time online than with your friends, it's show me the 5 YouTubers you watch the most, and I can get a pretty good idea of what you're like. So surround yourself with just amazing people. And more so than your friends, surround yourself with your parents. And you know, there's a lot of conflicting information online. People saying don't listen to your parents. Guys, if you have I have good parents, and I'm immensely grateful for that. And I'm checking the door because I hope no one's listening to this, but I'm very grateful for my parents. They are wise and they know a lot. And it's not the things that that fall into the realm of like I don't know. There's a distinction, right? There's some things like, for example, financial decisions. Okay, like I will completely listen to them. Like life decisions, I'll listen to them. And I put that part of my life in their hands. But there are some stars of wisdom that don't go out no matter how old you get. You know, no matter how like foolish you think your parents are, there are certain stars of wisdom, and you kind of have to discern what these things are. You just need to listen. And you know, some things I don't agree on, but like, who am I to say that they're wrong, right? All I know is that I don't agree with it. And maybe when I grow up, I'll come to learn that they were right, they were wrong. I don't know. I guess with my mental age, I just will listen to them. And the Bible is very clear. Children, obey your parents. And it's the moment when you decide that when you're not a child, where I guess, you know, it becomes your call. But it's a very fine line to draw for ego. You know, like how prideful do you have to think you are to consider yourself not a child? You know, is it a number? Is it I have this much money in my bank account? Is it I'm married? I don't know. It's a tough one, but at least for now, I would recommend all of you, listen to your parents, obey your parents. Take out the trash, okay? Take out the trash. Yeah, you need to stay home, talk. It's 15 minutes of your time. What are you losing? And the last step, this is my favorite, is magic. So one of my favorite things to do at the gym, which is something I was reminded of very vividly very recently, is running. I love to run, and it's not the cardio that's my favorite. It's where my mind goes while I'm listening to the music that I listen to while I run. All right, so while I'm running, I'm rehearsing the song in my head and trying to think of an epic music video for this song. and it's directed by me, it's shot by me, it's got my characters, it's got my stories written, and I'm just listening to these epic songs, and I'm thinking, I'm away in a magic world, and this is passion, right? So this is why art students will go to art college. This is why people write stories. This is at least for me, this is where the magic happens, for inspiration, and it's organic. It's not like it's not like I watched a motivational 2-minute video or speech or whatever. It's something that's within me that comes out whenever I run on the treadmill. So like when you have access to this magic, because sometimes your house, your desk can be very dull. You procrastinated, you've been sitting there, you get up, the work is tedious, the magic's not there. But when you have the magic, when you're reminded of it, you come back home, you're like, what am I doing? Like, one thing about the magic though is that it's a bit sad. It's bittersweet, right? It's bittersweet because, at least in my case, the things that excite me the most, being creative, writing, making music videos, animation, it's not my purpose as of this. My purpose now is grades. Unfortunately so, but I know why I'm doing it. But when the magic's there, it just revives me. And the danger is that I want to go work on these things now. I have a spontaneous desire to film a music video, to draw. If I keep talking about this, I'll go on and on, but magic can revitalize you. And so it's in a similar vein to going outside. That sunlight is one benefit, but when your mind is happy in that sense of like, there's so many cool people in the world and I want to be like them, etc., etc. Like, at least temporarily, it's like a Tylenol solution for your internal narrative. And so the more times you do that, the more times you remind yourself, I am epic, or I have good ideas, or I don't know, whatever you want to tell yourself that's true to you, true to who you want to be, true to who God wants you to be. You're fixing slowly. It's a slow process. You're fixing that internal narrative. And something that Dr. Paul Conti mentioned is that people try to package therapy. As great as therapy is, you can't. Let's say you've been in a abusive relationship for who knows how long. 5 years. There may not be any fireworks event that might have started this we would say trauma in the medical world, but the idea is that your internal narrative is inherently damaged. There's no firework event where you got destroyed in one night, or I don't know. It's the course over time where that relationship would have broken you down. Like, every time you leave the door to go to the gym, it's like, oh, good luck with losing that weight, or an off comment from your sister when you try to post a YouTube video. Or it's a very specific example that did not happen, but I'm just trying to make creative examples. I did not clearly just snatch from the podcast. But it's chronic damage to your internal narrative. So if you go to a therapy session, you can't fix that. And all right, intense therapy sessions, you'll be good as new, you'll be inspired. It takes time. And so this all goes back to the point that all of these tips, the sunlight, the magic, the dismissive humor, you do this over time. You build yourself, and slowly it gets better. It takes time, it takes work. It's hard, right? But you're healing it slowly. One more tip I forgot was sleep. Obviously, sleep's important. You want consistent sleep, and good quality sleep. Sleep hygiene. That's all there. You can look it up. Get good sleep. This week I did not get good sleep. kind of sucked. There's like bags under my eyes. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it here? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Being kind of sleepy is not fun. I kind of blame the vlogs. It takes a while to edit, and then at the same time, waking up early for church. But I take responsibility. I mean, I chose it. I probably continue to do the vlogs and the church thing, but we need sleep. So tonight I'm gonna sleep early. So as we go on, my last thing for this video is that I want to make clear to you my internal narrative. This is important because if you made it this far in the video, like, you probably care about this topic. What is my internal narrative? Well, the things that I want to believe in myself is that I'm going to do great and amazing things high above the average person, or even the 1% kind of person. God is going to take me to incredible places and have influence over thousands of people. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I was told that from a young age from God, and I'm going to take it and receive it. I believe that I can work hard, that I am disciplined, the most disciplined, that I am entertaining, I'm funny, I'm charismatic, the most charismatic, that I'm humble, I'm loving, I'm a person who people want to be around, rich, extremely rich, to have a godly influence over people. I could give up my artistic talent. I could give up nice things, nice camera, a love for music. If I could live my life to these things, that's to me a life well lived. And as of now, I believe that my path that I'm given that I'm meant to take for this season of my life is to go to med school. And every so often I think about it, and it's like, do you really want this? And I think this is the path I've chosen, because I don't want as of now I don't want anything else. But at the same time, I do want other things. Like a career in music would be epic. A career in business would be like free. But yeah, there's this narrow path of medicine. That's very, very steep, and it's the path I've chosen. And as of now, I've been sticking with it. Whether it's from a source of cowardice, that I don't know what I would do if I were to leave. I guess it boils down to the fact that there's a lack of evidence. There's a lack of evidence that I would pursue music, or a lack of evidence that I would be able to stick with a business. But there is a lot of evidence for me that I love science. That's why I go to college. I love the biology. I love the lab I work in. And so my narrative that I'm forging for myself right now is a doctor that leads, a doctor that cares, a doctor with influence, hard worker, disciplined, God-fearing, a friend of God. This is the narrative I tell myself. Probably have a couple other things that I'm not gonna leave on camera, but if I ever watch this back, I'll know. But yeah, I'm hyped. You guys should do this channel too, this challenge. Write down, pause the video right now, just get out your journal. I know you have one if you're this far into the video. Just write down your internal narrative. I'm gonna do that right now. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it, but please tell me why. And let me know what's your favorite color to have your strip lights on. Bye.